It can also test for other STIs such as herpes simplex type 1 and type 2, gonorrhea, chlamydia, and others.
Patients with an abnormal HPV and an abnormal cytology shall be referred to the colposcopy clinic. At that clinic, we shall assure that you get the proper treatment and guidance.
So come in and access this new service. Your health is our priority.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains, and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains, and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild. The power to heal, the future of pain relief.
McDowell Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene, vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Big issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. The man.
Tuesday afternoon to you, everyone. It is the very first day of the month of October 2024. This is The Real Issues with me, Shelton Daniel, your host and producer, alongside Alton Jaquan Joseph, our technical operator. Hope you're having a good day so far, the start of Creole Heritage Month, and it is also the start of the first pay period under the minimum wage, which is law in St. Lucia, and who the minister responsible, which is the Minister of Labour, has named today as the commencement date. Speaking of the Minister of Labour, we expect her to be our guest in studio. She hasn't arrived as yet, but we expect any moment that Honorable Dr. Virginia Albert Poyot will be in studio with us to speak about the minimum wage, its significance for St. Lucia, the implementation of it, what we can expect, what are some of the adjustments that employers and others would need to make, what can be made beforehand, and what is to be made as the month progresses. It doesn't have to wait for a whole month. For those who it applies to, will feel the impact of the minimum wage in the actual pay packets or bank accounts. But of course, those pay periods can come down to the hours because the minimum wage has been adjusted to reflect hourly, monthly, and I suppose what comes in between the weekly, fortnightly, etc. So I'll say no more about the minimum wage, but let us hope that it won't be too long before the minister who is responsible for labor speaks to us about that, and of course other matters that she may deem relevant and necessary at this time. Let me just throw out a little, it's really a small thing, but I've suffered so much from it recently that I figure it can't be coincidence. It probably has to do with the heat and the humidity. If you are somebody who, like most of us in modern world and the technology, have a whole lot of remotes, the TV remote, the cable remote, the DVD remote, the AC remote, the this remote, that remote, I would advise you to check it. Most times we put batteries in the remote and we don't bother to check for those batteries again until and unless the remote stops working. Then we have maybe our first cue and clue that the remote needs some replenishment of the batteries. Well, what has been happening to me on quite a few occasions recently is that the remote stops working, and then when I open it thinking it's a simple battery change, then I am greeted with the horrible sight and realization that it isn't so much the batteries have failed, but the batteries leak into the remote. The frequency with which it has happened to me in recent months, the quality of batteries that I almost always put in my remotes, I hardly put anything other than Duracell, which is supposed to be top of the line, if not the premium choice for most of us where batteries are concerned. Longevity, durability, how sturdy and robust the battery is. I've had quite a few ruined remotes over the last several months, which is really a lot more frequent. And to me, the time span is within the life cycle of the battery and so on. I cannot prove it. It's not that I have any scientific explanations or tests to back up what I'm saying, but I suspect it may have to do with the high humidity that we're experiencing and the heat and so on. So, I just wanted to send out this note of caution that it probably pays. I've lost a wireless mouse, I've lost TV remote, I've lost AC remote, I've lost DVD remote, a whole lot of them that I have lost because of leaking batteries. I've lost a very high quality digital recorder. If you hear about Marantz, you'll know what I'm talking about, a really advanced top of the line Marantz. I've lost so many that I made it a point to go back, and a lot of those remotes which I don't consider that I use very often, just take out the batteries and leave them there until I'm actually ready. So you may need to watch out for that. I don't think it's me all of a sudden I'm having this slew of leaking batteries, and usually once you see it happens, and nothing you can do with the particular appliance or accessory anymore. It leaks into your remote or into your wireless mouse or whatever it is, and it's done, because whatever leaks from the battery will go into the components, the circuit board and so on, and to go and change them, you might as well just buy a new wireless mouse and all of that. So just want to tell you to watch out for that. As we await the arrival of the minister, I want to once again big up the real issues people, especially the real issues people in the WhatsApp group. You people are great. You are awesome. You are versatile. You are just. You respond to invitations and to challenges, and I did put out a few for us to raise the quality of our interaction and our discussion, to not be thin-skinned and take things personal and not, engage in unnecessary bickering. Somebody responds to you in a manner that you find is a little tart and a little prickly and so on, that you don't go off, because you feel insulted and peeved and so on. And I just have to say, Real Issues people, you seem to have responded, because over the last few days I just saw an evolution of the caliber of discussion that is nothing, an evolution that is revolutionary. The speed with which you just raised the game in that chat room. I know there were concerns that I added a lot more people, whether the group was just too big. This has proven not to be true when it comes to relevance, when it comes to, and the diversity of people, or even though they were there, they were not posting. I find they've come together, they are contributing, they're responding to things, they are basically disagreeing with things, but doing it very respectfully. And this is the kind of thing that I love, that we become knife and flint, sharpening each other, shaping each other, rubbing off on each other in very positive ways. And I see that happening because yesterday somebody called, and I'm tempted to name one of the members of the group who shared, well, it was more than one, but shared so much. And maybe I'll just read a couple of the posts because I don't need to name the people who contributed them. Someone called and they raised some issue about customs or immigration when they come St. Lucian, coming back home for vacation or whatever, and they took exception. The customs or immigration officer, I can't remember, telling them, well, what's your purpose of your coming to St. Lucia? And they felt this was really, really out of place. I'm a St. Lucian, I'm coming back to my country, but you have to ask me, what's the purpose of my coming to St. Lucia? It's my home. And you'd have heard me guarding myself, indemnifying myself by saying, if what you're telling me is true, it sounds a little off to me. And he said that the customs officer, assuming it's customs, just to avoid having to say customs or immigration every time, told him, and again I stressed, if this is true, that I can make your life miserable, etc. In any case, I don't think the customs or immigration should tell anybody that. Least of all a St. Lucian coming back to his country. And I said, it sounds a little off and to my ears a bit out of place. But then, you see, sometimes, and this is why I say let's not go on the attack against people until we have a better picture, a broader picture, a more in-depth picture of what is involved of the issues. And some people knowledgeable about this, they posted in the Real Issues chat group and they explained to the person. And again, I think it was taken in very good spirit. I think it was taken in good stride, and it made sense when I read it. My own ignorance, I will never deny it or try to conceal it. And, one individual in particular said, you have to understand, even if you are St. Lucian, there is a difference between if you are coming back to St. Lucia to stay, if you are truly a returning national, if you are coming to a funeral, if you are coming for some kind of emergency. Because if you are coming for a funeral, right away the customs will have a certain idea of what you probably are bringing. Are you going to be bringing some more drinks than those that you don't need to be you don't need to declare 750 milliliters or whatever it is, 2 bottles of whatever? Might you be bringing something for the wake? Might you be bringing some drinks for, etc. If you are coming for some purpose, where it's just come and turn around, that is not the same as if you're coming back to settle at home. If you're coming to settle at home, you probably are holding something for, friends, family, and so on, for a wide variety of people. You know how it goes in St. Lucia. Everybody expects you to bring something, or shoot, or this, or that for them, and so on. And so customs will have an idea when they look at your declaration form and you say you have nothing to declare. What is the likelihood that, yes, you have something to declare, but you don't feel that you need to declare it because, everybody always believes, that's something I just hold. It's not I'm going to sell that. It's my family, I bring it for. But there are rules. And most of us on the form, nothing to declare. That's what we're going to say. And let me just read some of the comments. And I think it was they were very well conceived and so on. And somebody said, let me see that. Well, that one more pertains to the emergency documents, I think. But one said, we must examine why checks and balances are implemented. It is to ensure processes are above board and transparent to scrutiny. It is also to ensure gaming the system, that is those who are thinking they can do a bit of fancy footwork and so on in terms of their honesty and their forthrightness in the declarations that they make and so on. It is also to ensure gaming the system is kept to a minimum or eliminated, even in special circumstances. While parts of a process can be expedited or delayed pending a certain action, for security purposes, they may not be eliminated. Another one said, when we are doing travel documents for clients, we have to take immigration officers to our secure location to verify every time. I still don't think that's exactly the one that I wanted. Let me see that. The response to that question can determine the extent of your examination. If you are returning for vacation purposes as against returning home to stay, the officer can guide you accordingly. And that was the gist of the discussions. That best, don't take offense at immigration or customs asking you, what's the purpose of your coming to St. Lucia because you're returning St. Lucian. Sometimes based upon what you tell them you're coming to, they can decide it's unlikely that this person is going to have undeclared things that we have to carry out a search. Let him pass. But if, for example, you're coming back for a longer stay, a longer duration, you're coming back without the intention of traveling back to America or wherever it is, the chances of you having things in your carry-on and in your checked baggage and so on is probably greater. And it is through experience that they know those things. They probably won't explain all of that to you on the spot, like my good friend would say. There are certain things that you do, you ought not to be declaring to everybody how your cake is baked. I love that phrase. And so for security people, they can't come and give you a crash course and a lesson and an explanation and elaborate on this is what we're doing, because after a while you do that and everybody knows how to beat the system. They know why you're asking them those questions, and they will answer accordingly so that they can get past you, etc. So they have to know their stuff. They don't necessarily have to brief you on it. But I learned something, and real issues people, I'm going to tell you this. This is the kind of group that I want to be in, that I can add something by my contributions and I can come away with something and benefit. I believe in you. I ain't going to delete and remove and believe that I have people that should be pruned unless somebody is being insulting, distasteful, subversive of others and all of that, acting too ad hominem and uncouth and so on in the group. I'm not deleting people. I believe in you to be a self-regulating interaction and so on, that there will be intelligent discussions. And let me tell you, those of you who are more intelligent, and truly intelligent people don't go about telling people they're intelligent and convincing people and selling themselves. That's bombast. Truly intelligent people, they just allow their intelligence to speak for itself. It shows and glows, of its own accord. It doesn't have to go, it is self-evident, as I have said, of humility and so on. It is not self-announcing. There is this problem about self-esteem among people who are not very much up there, or who don't regard themselves, because some people who think they're not up there, they're actually quite smart. They're actually quite sharp, but self-esteem is a funny thing. People get to think less of themselves than they really are and so on. And then they can have this complex about, because you have a position or a name, that anything you say, they don't want you to talk. You hear this kind of accusations. Before you say something, they jump in on you. And, people tend to put up a defensiveness. I said what I said, don't come for me. I don't know why they do that all the time. And sometimes this is the thing which is furthest from the mind of the person who comes and disputes something or tries to correct something. They're not throwing their weight around because they figure, that, they're superior to you. But it's amazing the amount of calls and messages I get about people who tell me you should go to the chat room and see some people, they think they're bigger than others and they think they're more important. I find that has become less. It is, For the last few days, it has been eliminated. But I just want to say something about those of us who may hold a position and have some reputation of being clever, of being prominent, eminent, respectable, and respected, and all of that. When you're dealing with people who, for want of a better term, who are or may consider themselves to be lesser mortals, I'm just saying, be a little patient with them. Don't come down on them like a ton of bricks. And over time, they will develop this understanding that you are not bombastic and pompous and looking down on them. They will accept correction and guidance for what it is. They will make their little contribution fearlessly, without thinking that they're being dumped upon by somebody who considers themselves. Because a lot of the time, this is perception. It's perception. That's why I tell you sometimes, if I see people wherever I am on the sidewalk walking and they're behaving in a certain way, they see you think they just cut across. I never know. It may be coincidence. But I'm always mindful, and I tell myself, Shelton, you never know if this is a setup. The person recognizes you. They see you on TV, on Facebook Live, whatever, all the time and so on Richard Frederick's program, on Zafeno. And they have this little mindset about you that you're probably bombastic and pompous and full of yourself, And they're looking for a story which is non-existent. That kind of ignorance still exists, And so they're already looking to provide some kind of real life in the flesh justification for a prejudiced narrative that they have concocted in their own mind. And they want to go on to be able to tell a story about Yuba Pacho, Pisukwe, Pisapale, and Glepaseo. I had this experience down at Skinny's Chicken one night, the Skinny, I'm always bigging up at his chicken and so on. And I went down there, in the night and so on, and I wanted something. And, some guy who was among the people servicing told me XYZ. So I said, I don't really need the chicken to be hot and, hot off the fire and fresh off the fire. You can give me what's there already. But you said you wanted wings, and I said that the wings are on the fire. What's there in the showcase doesn't include wings. And there he proceeded to launch into a lecture. It wasn't any of that, Is it that I don't speak English well enough? And I said to myself, I know this guy ain't going to talk to other people like that. It's because I'm Shelton Daniel. I'm on the radio. I'm on the TV. So he figures, he's looking for a way to tangle with me, I say it in the Creole, because the Creole is more expressive. He's looking, this kind of dovetails into what I was saying about the Kakanese. Toujours kagade pon désagrément kind of people. They're looking for some kind of little fight. Now, I don't mind a little verbal sparring and tussle with people if I know you very well. But for most people, it goes way over what it should be. They make of it much more of what it should be and so on. So I just backed off. I allowed other people to go forward, and I slipped out today. I've never told Skinny that. He's probably hearing it, from my mouth for the first time. I ain't looking to get people in trouble if they're bosses. But people have this little complex where they believe that because you are a certain person and you have a certain recognition and you're supposed to have a certain position, that, you have a certain, quainess, as we call it, or whatever it is about you. You have attitude. And, in life, a sibling of mine once told me that when people are looking at you with prejudiced eyes, they always will see what they're looking for. You can be the humblest fella. You can be the man who's the most docile and all of that. They always will see a fool of himself, a bombastic, prideful, arrogant is one of the favorite words. Arrogant. They see arrogance in you, even when you show the greatest meekness. Or any little hint of self-confidence that you have about you, they see it as swagger, they see it as cockiness, they see it as this, and they're looking to pin you to the wall for it, even when it is furthest from your mind. I sometimes wish I could walk through town and nobody recognize me. About your business, somebody's always stopping you, but you recognize it's the world of media and the fans and all of that. Somebody always wants to talk to you. Sometimes when you're in the greatest hurry, when you really need to, get about your business, and somebody's hailing you up, and not even to hail up, but sometimes your mind is just so much on something or whatever. I don't, but this sort of thing. And so I want to appeal to my real issues people in the chat room, that you're going to find this little self-esteem struggles where people will project onto you and accuse you and blame you of things which is really a reflection that they don't think too well of themselves. I think you know yourselves. And I believe when I put out an appeal, you all really rose to the occasion. And it's like in the matter of a week, I cannot even recognize that group, because not just of the quality of the discussions, but also of the fluidity of the interactions and so on. So take a bow, real issues people. I'm going to be adding more people, because you add a lot, many will leave. Some people, they just don't like this group thing. Some people, they're already in so many groups, they don't want to be in another group. Some people just look at it and maybe they entered at the point when this tussle was going on. Maybe they will rejoin at some other time. But even some of those who've left, they left not before making some great contributions. And I believe we're going to have a superb forum of interaction, one that is self-regulating, because there are some, no, scratch that some, there are many, scratch that many, most of them are really great people. I'm so happy to be in your company, to be in your midst, and to be benefiting from you as I do, okay? Take a bow on that, real issues people. Now, what is Cornelia Jacob? That's me when I see you. What is she showing me? Something where she blocking her face or something like that? What's that? Cornelia. What happened? You're blocking your face as if you're ashamed of me? You see you? You cannot talk to me again. Ever. Except when you call the line, okay? Very soon from now, I hope. Now, I got a message saying that the minister was just a short distance away. And the person said, please remember the official opening of the office for the Labor Tribunal and the Minimum Wage Commission at 2 p.m. today. Location next to the Trophy Center at San Jose. Now, thank you for that message. When I'm finished the program, now don't be a call, because you're stealing the minister's funder. You should allow the minister to come and say that. And what you're doing now is that you have roped me in as an accomplice, as an accessory. And you add further, she has to attend this at 2. You can make the announcement. Why you want me to make the announcement? But I already gone and I have already put my neck on the block. So that means I have to let the minister go a while before 2 so that she can go and attend to that. But the good news is that I'm told that the minister is here. She's at the station, and not a moment too soon. Right on cue, because we'll take a commercial break and then we can welcome her into the studio. Don't go away. Real Issues will be back with the minister responsible for labor, Honorable Dr. Virginia Albert Poyot.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
The Ministry of Health has launched yet another service under universal health coverage. This new service includes conducting pap smears using liquid-based cytology, which will assist in eliminating cervical cancer.
This new method of conducting pap smears is more comfortable and more convenient. So ladies, contact your nearest wellness center to get to know about our pap smear clinics.
Turnaround time for HPV testing is 1 week. Any abnormal or positive test, there will be a following week for cytology testing. We're also going to test for HPV strains 16 and 18, which are the most aggressive, which cause cervical cancer. We can also test for other STIs, such as herpes simplex type 1 and type 2, gonorrhea, chlamydia, and others.
Patients with an abnormal HPV and an abnormal cytology shall be referred to the colposcopy clinic. At that clinic, we shall assure that you get the proper treatment and guidance.
So come in and access this new service. Your health is our priority.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains, and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains, and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild. The power to heal, the future of pain relief.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. The voice.
Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to and staying with the Real Issues on this Tuesday, the very first day of the month of October 2024. And as I promised you, when we come back from the break, we would be having the Honorable Minister responsible for the public service, for labor and gender affairs. She is also the elected member of parliament for the constituency of Babono. But today we are focusing on a significant labor issue and milestone, the minimum wage, which those of us who would have seen the special publication in the Gazette naming today, the 1st of October, as the commencement date for minimum wage. So it means that the month of October, all pay periods that fall within it will have to reflect the minimum wage. Honorable Minister, good afternoon. Thank you for being here and welcome. No, that's not your first time, right? Is it the first time
my first
on
time,
the Real Issues?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness me. Well, welcome. Nice to have you.
My first.
All right.
Yeah.
Is it a happy day for you?
Yeah, it's a happy day for me because the issue of the minimum wage that has been on my desk for the last 2 years. Where I established the minimum and equal wage commission.
Yes.
And many times we have spoken about that. And people say, well, it's just a farce. Government always say they will do it and they never did it. And finally we are seeing that come into reality. It is a big achievement for the government of St. Lucia. I must give thanks and glory to the Prime Minister, who is a visionary leader. And he stayed fast on that. He made a promise that he would do it, and now we are seeing it come into reality. It didn't come around easy because we established a 7-person commission, and we have quite a bit of experts on that commission. And to get people who are very skillful, very knowledgeable, giving their time almost like for free to come up with something that will benefit all St. Lucians, we are very appreciative of the work that they have done. The Prime Minister has expressed his gratitude for the commitment of the Commission and coming up with a final figure that is acceptable by all parties. As you know, this minimum wage will increase contributions from employers, and most people like to retain their profit. But if they are persons who are committed to the cause of the persons who work for them, they would not find it too much of a challenge for them to. And it's a minimal increase for some employers in terms of percentage increase. Most of them, to some extent, have been close to the minimum wage. However, unless we had it established, people will not know whether they are above or below the minimum wage. As you know, today is October 1st, and the minimum wage is $1,131, and the hourly rate is $6.52. The Minimum Wage Commission did not go into a daily rate, because if they go into the daily rate, they would not have allowed the employer some maneuvering space. So I think it is a win-win situation where both employers and employees will see the need to give a fair day's work for a fair day's pay, and a fair day's pay for a fair day's work. And with that, it is going to put quite a bit of pressure on the Department of Labor to monitor and ensure that employers stick to what the regulations would say and speak to. And we also have to police workers to ensure that they do report to work on time, they do deliver, and they help their employers get satisfactory returns for the work that they do. Today is also historic in the sense that for the first time, the Labor Tribunal and the Minimum Wage Commission will have their office space. Before they were operating and looking for space in different places to operate, especially the Labor Tribunal. Because when you have disputes between worker and employer, and the Labor Tribunal has to bring some resolution to that matter, they need a space to operate. And it's almost like a court. They have to hear from both sides and come to some settlement. And for the past 2 years, the Labor Tribunal has been moving from place to place, trying to get a place to have the different hearings from employers and employees. And finally, today, October 1st, is the date that we are going to give them their own office space. They will also share that space with the Minimum Wage Commission, because although the Minimum Wage Commission has established a minimum wage, but they will also assist government in monitoring and overseeing the implementation of the minimum wage. So they are going to share the space. There is a secretariat at the office, and that office is just at Sanssouci near the Trophy Center, which is close to the roundabout. So at 2 p.m. today, we are officially opening this office.
Okay,
Yes.
all right, okay. You did mention, and I don't think we should allow that to slip our notice, that the Minimum and Equal Wage Commission, I think the equal part maybe has not gotten as much attention as the minimum part. Do we still have a situation in Saint Lucia côté journée nom qu'a payé plus passer journée femme, or is the equal wage meant to address other things and so on? Do we have any gender discrimination in wages?
I don't think we have a gender discrimination in wages. It's just that the jobs that pay the most, in especially the construction area, attracts more men than women. But it's not that they are discriminated against. If a woman goes into construction and she's doing the same work as the man, she will get the equal pay. So that is important. We also speak of what we call the livable wage, and the Prime Minister did speak to that. And when the Minimum Wage Commission calculated, they use a very scientific method to arrive at the minimum wage. It's not something they just got up one day and say, let's pay people $1,131. There is the KITE formula, model, which is used by the European Development Organization and ILO, the International Labour Organization. They have established that as a formula to arrive at what the minimum wage is. So they examine the living conditions, the cost of living in St. Lucia, and they looked at the average salary that is paid by the National Insurance Corporation, and they applied the KITE formula, the model, to arrive at the minimum wage for St. Lucia. And interestingly, they found that the minimum wage and the livable wage happen to be the same thing in St. Lucia. Now people will say, oh, the minimum wage is too low, it should be more.
You can't live on that.
You can't live on that. But we found that when they applied the formula, that these two cross line at the same point. in addition to the minimum wage, because people will say, well, $1,131, that will not pay for this, it will not pay for that. But we are saying when you apply it to the food basket, you look at what somebody will pay for their electricity minimum, what they'll pay for their water minimum, their food, taking in their proteins, their carbohydrates, their whatever, and if you do your little groceries for the month, that $1,131 will take you on a safe path.
Okay.
Now, if you know the philosophy of this government under the Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre, this is a government that has been looking after the interests of the ordinary people, the very poor, and we have put a number of safety measures in place to assist these people. So you find if these people were earning way below the minimum wage, the government would have brought it up to the minimum wage. For example, if somebody was going home at the end of the month with $600, now this person is supposed to go home with $1,131 before they do any other deductions. And this is a huge increase for this person. But in addition to that, you find that this government, after COVID-19, we found people had lost their jobs, the job market was closed down, everybody was out of work, the hotels had fired a lot of people or laid them off. You find that government started off by giving people vouchers, they started giving them hampers, they started doing the short-term employment program, where these people were getting a little income.
Yes.
So there are a number of measures that the government put in place to ensure that we help people get out of the situation where they have found themselves.
Right.
And we have not withdrawn that support. That support is still there.
Right.
So when you get your minimum wage, you still get the little support that will help you take care of this. We are giving education assistance. We are giving assistance in health. And a number of areas we assist people.
Yes.
So that
And
should
the general
help people.
public assistance
Right.
program and all of that.
And then
plus the income tax classification and so on is not
right.
supposed to
So we
have
have
anything.
help pensioners.
Yes, yes.
So and then we don't want people to feel, well, if you are working at a particular place, when you have extra time, you can use your time to generate additional revenue.
Right.
Once it's legal, we don't want you to go into any illegal activity.
That's right.
So you can go into doing your little garden. Some people go and sell by the market. Some do some sewing. Some do some
Or even
cake
some
making
extra jobs. Some
and
people have
flower,
evening jobs
flower arrangement. There are many things. St. Lucians are very ambitious people, and therefore they can do other things to take them up to a decent life, what we call a livable wage. The interesting thing that came out, Shelton, in that minimum wage is that prior to the minimum wage, there are persons who are working in the service industries. And in working there, you find that there were bonuses, there were gratuities, there were service charge and everything else that was paid to the company. And it is alleged that the company was using that money, and when they divide it, they pay the employees a salary out of that. Now this minimum wage said no, you have to pay the minimum wage and you add the service charges and the bonus on top of it.
Yes.
So if your minimum wage is not if it is $1,131, then you work in a hotel and they have service charge, they have bonus which the employer collects. They have to pay you that on top of your minimum wage, which is an addition to what you would get as your minimum wage.
Wonderful.
So these are interesting areas that we want people to be aware of. What we want people to note too is that if your wage is above the minimum wage, it cannot go down. The employer cannot say, now I will hire you at the minimum wage.
Yes.
You have to continue to pay the employee, because it's a good thing that you are compensating your workers for what they deserve, and not because we say there is minimum wage that you pay them at the minimum. We establish that for those who are below, so that at least these people can take home a decent pay to to take care of themselves. Some of these people have little children. They have a lot of responsibilities. Some even paying rent, and they cannot. You see, we want the employers to understand that if you want your workers to be productive, you want them to be happy at work, you pay them a decent wage. Because as I said previously, you need the workers to come to work clean. You need them to be dressed properly. You need them to have a proper nutrition. And you want them to live in a decent place. You don't want people to appear in your workplace looking shabby, unkempt, and not cared for because they cannot afford it. So at least you give them the minimum. So they report to work on time, they look clean, they are well fed, they have money to pay their transports, to go to and from work, and they will be able to give you the best. And they are not thinking of how am I going to do this, or even thinking of robbing the employer because you are not giving them what is fair. And many times the employees feel that the companies that they work for belongs to them. So they take ownership of it because they feel they are sharing part of the profit. The profit they generate in that company, the company shares part of that with them. It's not just a matter of paying your salary. You feel that
they get incentivized.
Incentivized. So that is very important for us to take into consideration. And people are talking about, oh, well, they are going to lay off the workers, that they are creating fear among workers, that with the minimum wage, the employer will lay them off because now they have to get more money to pay the workers.
How do they know it's going to be more? I mean, how do we arrive at saying that setting a minimum wage means that the wage bill, does it follow logically that setting a minimum wage automatically means your wage bill will become inflated?
Well, interestingly, we have about 12,097 people who will benefit from the minimum wage, in that they will get more pay. The amount we are not sure as to how many will get what percentage. Because if, for example, your salary has been $1,000, with a minimum wage, you will only get $131 more.
Right. Okay.
But if your salary was $600, now you are going to get an additional $531 more than you would have gotten before, which is a huge increase. Okay, but we don't know how many people fall in that category.
Okay,
we cannot give you that figure.
Which is why I wanted to ask you the question: if there are employers who feel that the minimum wage is going to stress what they have to pay out now, might they engage in creative ways to try to cut that wage bill, such as people who would normally have been paid monthly? But I don't know if existing hires, if you can change them from monthly to hourly, so that you can now say, okay, rather than letting this person work the full 40 hours a week or how many hours a month that would come to, that I will curtail the hours so that I don't have to pay them so much more. I will be able to make them work, their backs off, if I'm able to do it. Can they engage in some fancy footwork? Or even if they can't do it, if existing workers, make sure whoever they hire knew that they say, okay, your day will only consist of 4 hours and that will only be 3 days a week, whatever, so that they can keep their wage. Is there a possibility we might see this kind of little gamesmanship by employers?
Okay, well, that is where the Department of Labor comes in. Because the Department of Labor will go into the workplace. If an employee has a concern, they come to the Department of Labor, and then we look at what arrangement they have with the employer. And we do not want employees to just assume that they will get $1,131 when the month ends. We want to know what was the contract, what was the arrangement with the employer. And some people want to enter into some arrangement with their employers that will pay them below the minimum wage. These people cannot come to the Department of Labor and complain and say they are paying them below the minimum wage.
Because
we want to know what is it you agreed to.
Okay.
I recall somebody said how somebody who employed a babysitter. Said the babysitter said, well, as of today, October 1st, you will have to pay me $1,131. But I don't know if the arrangement before was like, I'll give you a little $600 to take care of the child for me for whatever time, whatever arrangement.
Right.
So the employer said, what? Where am I going to get all that money to pay you? So if there was an arrangement that you agreed, you are my niece, you are my whatever, you just helping me out, and you agreed to that, and you have that in writing, you cannot come now and say they are underpaying me. Or maybe the number of hours you worked was half of the time. You might not be working 40. Remember, the minimum wage is on a 40-hour week.
Well, yes.
You must give 8
and
hours
maybe
a day.
maybe the arrangement was loose in that somebody works 6 hours, you know, and because it's family, whatever, they just give them $200 a week, so they end up getting $800 a month for domestic work or for babysitting, maybe $150 a week.
Yes.
That now the person will say, okay, you want minimum wage? We're gonna check the number of hours that you're working, and I will pay you per hour. And if they pay them per hour, let's say even if it is 6 hours a day. You're talking about 650, whatever.
652.
652.
To an hour.
All right. So you say 6 or 36. Maybe that's just skirting $40 a day, and that probably will not reach the 1,100 and something. That's what I was asking when you said about we don't legislate for the day. I'm just saying now, will you now see people who are employers, especially in that informal sector, in the babysitting, domestic work, adjusting things so that it comes down not to a month but an hourly, so that you don't get anything close to 1,100 and something, but I am observing minimum wage because I have you on an hourly computation.
Yes. I think that is the safety net that the commission left for employers to have some maneuvering space, and workers cannot take advantage of the employer, and the employer cannot take advantage of the employee, because I might have been working for you for $600 at the end of the month, but you also have to check how many hours did I work for you.
Exactly.
I only work maybe for half of the month.
Exactly.
Because I have some people who are helping me out in my constituency, and they only work for 2 days or 3 days in the week, and they go home with like $500, but they did not give me the other time they go and do their business. They are not there every day, so you cannot say at the end of the month I must get 1,000 because you are not giving me 8 hours.
8 hours a day.
So these are arrangements, because some of these people have part-time jobs in different places. They go and do this, they go and do that, they go and do this before they come to work, and this kind of loose arrangement. So these people will not fall within the category of the minimum wage and come to the Labor Department and complain. All right. For example, a very interesting thing is the persons who work in STEP, and people say, "Oh, STEP," but the people work for 5 hours.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, they get $100 in some cases. Some get $70, some get $80. But how often do they get this step? It's once a blue. The government has put that in place to assist these people, and not that they are paying them
it's not like a
an hourly
job,
rate of $20 an hour, because that's what it works out to, $20 an hour. But you get that once every 6 months. So is that what you want? That once every 6 months you get $20 an hour. So what do you do for the rest of your time? So if you are working steady every day, and every month you come home with pay, this is what you should be earning after giving 8 hours.
All right, wonderful, wonderful. Let's just go a little off topic for a while so I can deliver a message which sounds important. I'm only mentioning the person's name because of who sent me the message, that I have confidence and trust that they will be reliable. And she says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Daniel. My friend Mary Didier's wallet was lost. There was $550, her ID, and all her personal information. She has asked me to call you to ask if anyone has found it or the document. She would be grateful if they could return it to the nearest police station." So if anyone has found a wallet containing the personal documents like ID and all of that belonging to Mary Didier, can you turn it over to the nearest police station? All right, there was some money involved in it, so let's hope that we have someone who is honest and of integrity and so on, who will put themselves in Mary Didier's place, that if you have lost your wallet, that you will do right by her and by yourself in turning it over to the nearest police station. Okay, I attach no cynicism to that, just appealing to the better nature of us. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Victor Girard, who sends a message, says, a good friend of mine who's electrically and mechanically trained, advised me against the use of Duracell batteries. They have a tendency to leak. I use Energizer instead. Thank you very much, Mr. Girard, for that. And maybe that's my problem, that I tend to go for top of the line, or what I think is the top of the line brand. And so maybe because of the humidity and the heightened heat, I'm always having leakage in my various remotes and things like that, accessories, and like I said, a top-of-the-line digital recorder, which I lost as a result of that taking place. But thank you. Like I said, it's a little off-topic. My guest in the studio, the Honorable Minister responsible for Labor, Honorable Dr. Virginia Albert Poyot, and she's here today because this is the start of the minimum wage life in St. Lucia, legally mandated, etc., etc. Were there any particular challenges or pushback that yourself, the Minimum Wage Commission, etc., had to deal with in arriving at this? Because I remember the process of the labor code. My goodness, it seemed like it was going on forever. People, there was always some pushback against it, that it was going to spell doom and gloom and disaster. If there was that kind of thing in St. Lucia, I didn't hear too much of it, but who knows what may have been happening behind the scenes. Now that we are at the stage where you can exhale, you can breathe a sigh.
In fact, I just want to express my appreciation for the Labor Commission and minimum and the Minimum and Equal Wage Commission. And this commission was under the chairmanship of Mr. Lawrence Poyot. He was the chairman. We had Mr. Jerome Jules, who represented the Employers Federation. We have Miss Lisa Goodman, who represented the labor, the trade unions. We have Mr. Paul Caliteron. He represented the National Insurance Corporation.
Yes.
We have Mr. Paul Hille, who represents Ministry of Economic Development. We have Mr. Kalistas Jean-Louis and Mr. Edwin St. Catherine, who represents the statistical department with the data.
Right.
So we had a group of experts in that group, and these people went. And I think the Prime Minister has expressed his gratitude for these people taking time under very odd circumstances to find place to meet and to. So after they published the first order of the minimum wage, the legislation stated that they have to open it out to the public. They consulted a number of groups before they arrived at the proposed minimum wage. And then there was a period of time after we published the order. I think when they came with the final minimum wage, it was a few dollars more. They came out with a few dollars more. Right. But they engaged the Chamber of Commerce, the Employers Federation, the trade unions. They had consultation with stakeholders, and they did it hybrid, where people were online and people were in person, and they actually created a hotline for people to call and complain and whatever issues they have, so that they clarified all these issues before they came up with the final minimum wage. And when they came with the final proposal, they were summoned to cabinet, and they had to make a presentation to the cabinet of ministers to explain how they arrived at this minimum wage, so that we are sure that they did the right thing. We were confident that they were the proposals were not tampered with. It was not out of malice. It was very scientific. And one of the things that we were happy about, that when they did put out the proposals, as politicians, we did not comment on it until they gave the final order. We did not want to mix the politics in what was happening. And we wanted the employers to be assured that we were not playing politics with the livelihoods of St. Lucians. And therefore, when we waited for the month or so, they told us that the feedback was there was not any great hostility on the part of the employers. They just wanted clarification on a number of areas, and therefore the commission met with them. They explained the situation with them, and then they went back to the drawing board. After the Prime Minister made the announcement on August 1st, He gave them the whole of August and the whole of September. The employers had all that time to go to their books and do their calculation. Now, interestingly, while we speak on minimum wage, the government, as a government, we were paying persons below the minimum wage.
Okay, all right.
Right,
okay.
so we had to make our own adjustment.
Can you tell me some of the areas where that would have been happening?
Well, you know, you have different
Casual
places.
workers or something?
Yeah, there are wage earners. There are people who are earning below $1,131.
Okay.
So government, the Prime Minister had to get them to do the calculation to know how much more government would have to get to pay them, and he has already instructed to make the necessary.
In the aggregate, can you tell us how much that would have come to? 12 million, 15 million, 10 million?
No.
What's the aggregate?
No, there are 12,097 workers based on the Commission's report
of the
who
government
will
people.
benefit.
Yeah, but I'm saying
But
the
when
government
the
people.
Prime Minister looked at our wage earners, there were a few of them who were below. And it is not a significant amount. It will not cost because government had to ensure that they pay. We have to ensure that we pay our workers well.
All right,
So it is a small adjustment.
Okay.
But generally, when we look at the other sectors, and we look at, for example, persons who work on the farm, persons who do babysitting, persons who do different kinds of jobs, we find that some of these people were grossly underpaid.
Okay.
And therefore, the employers, the persons who employ them,
Okay.
they have to ensure that they don't have these people live in abject poverty.
Okay. Honorable Minister, you have to go very soon. I'm pleading with you. Can you give us, even if it's 5 minutes on the other side of the break? We'll let you leave here 20 minutes before your next appointment. You indicate you maybe have to take a snack. Just in case anybody, maybe we can fill no more than 2 calls if anybody wants to ask a question of you. Okay? This is the real issues. We take a break. When we come back, don't forget, we won't spend a long time. We'll have to wrap up with the Honorable Minister who has another appointment coming up. So we'll open the phone lines just in case you want to share 1 or 2 calls of interaction with her. Back shortly.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Ministre qui a une responsabilité pour santé qui a offert un service neuf en bas programme Universal Health Coverage là. Service ça là c'est pour femmes faire test pap smear pour aider à adresser problème cancer en matrice. Service nouveau pap smear ça là plus confortable et plus facile. Nous commander pour toute femme pour l'avantage service ça là et aller en wellness center en commune pour apprendre plus à sous sa clinique pap smear ça là qu'elle fait. Ada une semaine seulement ou ka jwen résultat l'examen pap smear. Et si mou chwe bagay pas normal, et ben la ni cancer, ou ka traper examiner encore durant une semaine. La kay ni examination pour HPV 16 et HPV 18 qui ça en cause cancer en matrice. Si résultat test la pas normal, ou ka jwen un appointment vitement pour traitement. Et là, ou ka jwen plus information à sous maladie et guérison. Nous commandons toute femme pour prendre l'avantage service neuf ça là pour adresser problème cancer. Et UHC, santé ou c'est l'enterré nous. Pour plus d'informations, téléphonez 468 5300 et bien 468 5328.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. The man.
Start date of implementation of the minimum wage in St. Lucia. It is something that is according to law. It's not according to discretion. It's not according to, people's fancy or whatever. Minimum wage, and the Honorable Minister of Labor is my guest. Not for very long. We have our first caller. Hello.
Yes.
Hi,
yes.
caller.
Good afternoon. Yes. Good afternoon, Madam Poyot.
Good afternoon.
I am so glad to have that discussion with you. As a St. Lucian living in Montreal, I have had that problem in St. Lucia. Labor department, your employees, your department have certain people. They serve the person according to who they are and who the person is complaining about. Because I have been down that road. I work for a well-known public servant, and she did not pay me, Madam Poyot. And my job was so risky, I could have died in here. You know how I paid, Madam Poyot? I'm not ashamed to tell you. I had to commit myself to get paid.
Myself.
No, pièce mon pas blessé.
Okay. On the commit call.
No, I had to commit myself.
Okay.
I paid myself. I'm not still crying, Madam Poyot. Because I'm not going to mention nobody's name, and I'm so glad he's out of that department. When I went to him and I told him what happened, the way he fixed his face and his facial expression.
Make it quick. Make it quick. Minister has to leave shortly.
I knew he knew who the person is very well.
Okay.
She's a well-known person. Madame Poyot, dis se moun sa la ki ka travayan didan la, fait travail avec fait douette. Parce que c'est toutes ces bagailles ça là, les moun travail avec moun tape yo. Crime pa kay jamais fini. Have a good day. Thanks very much for that moment, Madam Poyot.
All right, but lot ko pa fuye la mo cash pan na, okay? Même si yo pa paye.
Non, pas mettre dans ma cash pan yo.
Ou do commit ko, ou paye ko, okay?
Oui, mo commit comment mo paye quoi moi?
Okay, all right. So ça mean la mo aller dans cash pan na. No kay pa dans lot.
Non, mo pas toucher cash pan.
Okay, my friend. Okay.
More readily.
Okay.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, we have another call on the line. Hi, good afternoon. Real issues.
Madam Minister and Shelton Daniel.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon to you.
I have a long-standing matter with Labor Department taking a decision over CCC, over 17 of us that was made redundant in 2021. That is just over 3 years. And the Labor Department took a decision for them to pay us our redundancy pay in April of last year. And up to now, from what I understood, that the CCC wrote to the Labor Minister, which is you, Madam Poyot, requesting a meeting to oversee this matter. And it is long overdue, 3 years out of a job, and I feel whatever that is due to us should be paid. So I don't know if you are aware of this matter. I've been contacting the CSA, and they said they're waiting for a meeting with you.
Okay, I will look into the matter, but I just want to give you the assurance that some matters, if it's not resolved, when you have an issue, the labor relation officers deal with it. If it's not resolved at that level, it goes to the labor commissioner. And if it is not...
I have a letter that was written to the CSA requesting a meeting with you, which the labor commissioner had already presided, asking the council to pay. But the council has refused to be, and they're requesting for your intervention. So I don't know if anybody contacted you on that, but that decision by the Labor Commissioner was taken as of April last year.
Okay.
It's over a year that decision was taken.
Okay, my friend. Minister is taking note and she'll look into the matter, okay? All right, thank you. Thank you very much. We have to let the minister go about now. Barring if we don't have anybody on the line. Let's take a final, and I do mean final call on this one, okay? Yeah, caller, good afternoon. Real issues. Make it tight. Yeah, make it tight, please. Yes.
Yeah, my question is, are there any punitive measures written in law that can be taken against employees if they refuse to comply to the law? Thank you.
Okay, there are no specific punitive measures. What we know, and that's why today we are opening the office for the Labor Tribunal and the Minimum Wage Commission. In that, the way we resolve these disputes, after it has gone to the labor officers, it will have to go to the Labor Commissioner, the Minister, and the Labor Tribunal. So there are measures in place, systems in place to ensure that persons who do not comply with the legislation and the regulation, they will have to face the law.
Right.
And then the matter is heard just like a court. And when they rule, in fact, many times matters that are ruled under the minister or the tribunal, some people decide to take that matter to the court.
Right.
And most times now the court send it back to the tribunal because they see that the evidence and everything presented to the tribunal was fair, and therefore they will not overturn the decision of the tribunal. Okay, so this is something that we have to ensure that people follow, and that they are treated fairly. So we are putting them side by side. So when the Minimum Wage Commission get cases, they pass it straight over to the Labor Commissioner and then to the tribunal, so that they deal with these persons who have violated the legislation in a very swift manner.
Okay. Okay, so Jaquan, what we'll do, we'll take an unscheduled break because we want to allow the minister to make an exit. She did explain what her schedule is for us for the afternoon.
Yes, I just want to inform the public that we are opening the office for the Labor Tribunal and the Minimum Wage Commission this afternoon. In the next few minutes, we have to be there, and that means we are going to monitor and check on our business. But we anticipate that there will be good faith and goodwill on the part of both employees and employers, and let us ensure that St. Lucia gets an improved quality of life for everybody.
All right. Honorable Dr. Virginia Albert Poyot, our Minister for Labor, sharing some time with us today on the real issues. We greatly appreciate it. And so we take a break to allow her to make her exit, and then we'll be back to wrap up the remainder of today's program.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
The Ministry of Health has launched yet another service under universal health coverage. This new service includes conducting pap smears using liquid-based cytology, which will assist in eliminating cervical cancer.
This new method of conducting pap smears is more comfortable and more convenient. So ladies, contact your nearest wellness center to get to know about our pap smear clinics.
Turnaround time for HPV testing is 1 week. Any abnormal or positive test, there will be a following week for the cytology testing. We also going to test for HPV strains 16 and 18, which are the most aggressive, which cause cervical cancer. We can also test for other STIs such as herpes simplex type 1 and type 2, gonorrhea, chlamydia, and others.
Patients with an abnormal HPV and an abnormal cytology shall be referred to the colposcopy clinic. At that clinic, we shall assure that you get the proper treatment and guidance.
So come in and access this new service. Your health is our priority.
Why are you suffering from aches, pains, and illnesses? When there's help for you. At Health Service Center, we offer a wide range of treatment that has been scientifically proven to help you with your aches, pains, and illnesses. Our ICT machine is one of the most effective devices in the health field. It has shown positive results in many health problems, such as back pains, shoulder pains, migraine headaches, pain in the knees and legs, poor circulation, arthritis, diabetic neuropathy, numbness in the feet, strokes and sports injuries. ICT, repairs, rebuild, the power to heal, the future of pain relief.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. The man.
Line waiting, but just before we join that caller, would you believe somebody, as we took the break, actually called me and said, Shelton, we should have had a holiday today. We'll call it minimum wage day. Caller, good afternoon. The real issues.
Good afternoon, Shelton.
How are you doing?
The minister is still there?
No, she left. She had to go for the opening year of year.
Okay, I really wanted to for her to answer that question. What I wanted to ask her, like, as minimum wage implement today, active today, I would like to know for people that work last week,
if they
will get it.
Do you have a noise in your background? Something hitting something or whatever?
I at work. Let me try and move myself. I would like to know if people that work last week, if they entitled for that minimum wage starting today, or if they have to, like, today working.
No. It's today that the calculation of minimum wage starts. So the very first thing would have to be pay periods that fall within the month of October and after. Okay, whether you are paid hourly, whether you are paid weekly, fortnightly, monthly, the calculation of your minimum wage starts as of the month of October 2024. Last week would have been September, so that's not covered by minimum wage.
Okay. And the other question I would like to answer, but the minister leave already, because I heard she say, like, about people that, like, babysitting and say, like, okay, I will pay you $600, and the employer say, like, from today, you will have to pay me $1,142, and like the employee say, oh, where I getting that money? And like she say, oh, you didn't have a document, or even though if you have a document, like, you cannot get it because you have a document. At that time, they didn't have no minimum wage.
No, I believe what she's saying is that even with the minimum wage, if you agree bilaterally, as we say, between you and the employer, that you say, okay, you are waiving your right to the minimum wage and you are willing to work for that amount for whatever reason, okay, that is your agreement with the person. They cannot force you not to accept an agreement or not to go into an agreement for less money. That's one thing she said. She also said that the monthly hold on for me. The monthly calculation of the minimum wage is based upon what we understand to be a monthly, weekly, fortnightly, and that is based upon an 8-hour day, 5 days a week. So if you are already working for less, doing less work than that, there has to be a calculation that says you cannot expect a month's pay when, according to the law, you are working less than a month based upon your daily, weekly, whatever hours. You understand what I'm saying?
To me, my understanding, like, minimum wage, you, like, whatever time, if it's like $6.50 an hour, whether you make 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, you have to get your $6.50.
Exactly, but
that's
not
how it is.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But that is if you're an hourly paid worker,
whatever time you work, you get paid by that. If you want to work like 2-3 hours, you get paid either 3 hours by minimum wage.
Yeah.
But if you want to take like 8 hours and a half, you work by you get paid by 8 an hour, 8 hour and a half by minimum wage. Because that's how it is.
But I
like
think
today,
overtime,
the same-
I don't think overtime has to be
overtime,
calculated
I
the
don't
way
know about
overtime is
overtime,
calculated. Double time or time and a half or whatever it is.
Time
yeah?
and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hey, like time and a half or after overtime. Like holiday work, like double time.
For example, there's a misunderstanding on the part of people for overtime. If they are supposed to work a 40-hour work week, but up to that point they have only worked 30 hours, then on a certain day they work 2 extra hours, they want to get paid for it. What they are saying, according to the law, overtime does not become applicable until you have worked
after the 40 hours.
Right, until you have worked the minimum, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. But here they continue it after 44 hours.
Yeah,
You
okay.
get over time and a half.
Okay.
Okay, that's my take. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, my friend. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye.
All right, 487-9849. That's the line for the WhatsApp calls, and 4533911. Do we have anyone on the line, Jaquan? Okay, he says not yet. But we still have time for a few more calls if you are minded to make them. 487-9849. That's the line for the WhatsApp call. And you can also call us on the landline 4533911. Let me see. Someone says, this is true, Shelton. That is why I don't allow people to refer to me as a sister of Richard Frederick in any unfamiliar gathering. And I think this is Eusebia Jabat is talking about, the associations that people can make where they believe that because you are the brother or sister or whatever of a minister, that they basically project onto you things that really end there except their own prejudices, and then they accuse you of being a certain way and behaving in ways which is not true at all. All right, we have another call on the line. Hi, good afternoon. Real Issues.
Hi, good afternoon, Shelton. Good afternoon to your listeners and viewers.
How are you doing?
I'm all right. I want to big up the government, commend the government for instituting what I call a living wage. The Prime Minister calls it a living wage.
A livable wage, yeah.
Livable wage. Those of us who are Catholic Christians and we know our faith, we know that the Catholic Church has a social justice principle that demands that employers pay employees a just wage. Alright? And for those who are my colleague, my colleague on different WhatsApp group chats, I send them there was a sermon by an African priest on a minimum wage. I send that to you. It has in real issues. You saw that?
Yes.
Right. So as a Catholic, there's no debate for me why you must have a minimum wage, a livable wage. As I said on a little station this morning, the person who helps my wife clean the house, I pay far more than what you call a minimum wage. The guy who cuts my grass, I pay more than they pays them, So I don't have a problem with that. So it is, I think it's an opportune time for those trade unions who are there, are members and working persons out there, to get people unionized. And those of us who understand history, understand economics, where there are strong unions, the economy does better. It is a few, not many, you see toward minimum wage and minimum wage. Public officers do not get minimum wage, above minimum wage. Right?
Yes.
The fellows who cut grass, right, above the minimum wage.
Okay.
The people that work in some institutions, the people that work in some places where they are crowded, some gas stations. These are the places that so the unions have to go and get the people organized, etc. If they are unionized, you don't even need the minimum wage. And this morning I mentioned your name. I must tell you what I said. You listening?
Yes, I'm listening.
Yes. Your colleague in the media asked me what must they do. I said, you see what happened to the media? When they sent Shelton home, they said what happened to them. Alright? And I reminded them that I went to Radio Salvation. I said to them, today is Shelton, tomorrow is you. And so said, so done.
Indeed.
And I remember there was there are two brothers, one in Radio Solution, one in the other station. And he said nothing until his brother got sent off as well.
Yeah.
He had a good awakening. So I said to the media first people this morning, they need to come together from unions to defend their rights as workers. You know?
True.
So I want to big up Prime Minister Philippe Pierre. I mean, he's a Catholic Christian, and I must be big up, you know, that same going man like myself. And I believe he's sincere. If not, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So we have to look out for those unscrupulous employers who, instead of reducing their profit, will want to jack up prices for consumers. We must be vigilant. Right? But the just wage is a biblical requirement. You must not deny the worker of his wages. And you know that. I mean, you're better than me at those biblical quotations. You know that, right? You know? So the Bible demands that we must not deny the worker of his just wage.
True.
And that is what we are doing.
And the worker likewise must not deny his employer, just duties and performance and productivity. Yeah.
People used to ask me that question when I was leader of the union. I say it's not for me as a trade unionist to do that. Because the worker, the employer, the organization have supervisors. They have managers. They are being paid to supervise. They are being paid to manage. Okay, that's not in unions work duty. So if you train your supervisors, they have to train and appraise people, not based on who could make coffee and make tea for boss, but you have to appraise them based on their assigned duties. So when they do not perform, you say, hello, Shelton, you have not been performing well, so then I have to talk to you.
Okay.
Shelton, next time I'll have to write to you.
Okay.
There's a proper way to do it. Not parade there and talk behind his back. Don't mind Shelton. No. We have to appraise persons based on their assigned duties.
Okay.
I must take my own bow, Shelton. In 1998, I went to India to do a course in human resource management and planning. My dissertation was in performance appraisal, which I handed over to the Ministry of the Public Service and the then Prime Minister. And in that paper, I argued that performance appraisal must be based on the category of workers. We have to appraise managers differently from supervisors, frontline workers different to supervisors.
Yeah. We come into time, so wrap up.
Yeah. So in that thing, so therefore, it's high time we start appraising people on what we give them to do, not for they be nice people. All right? That's fine. So give that opportunity.
Okay. Yes, bon roos, as we say. It looks like Cornelia Jacob take me seriously because I tell her I'm not talking to her again. You know, she didn't call today. You know, and it don't look like even, we don't have time left. She can't call because Cornelia can't say what she's saying in 1 minute and so on. Good afternoon, Maria Bonaparte, who says, I know of business places in St. Lucia who pay $350, even hotels. All right. I think we have one more call. Jaquan, you sure you can take it? We'll have to cut that call off for the lotto, Anyway, go ahead, caller.
I am not saying anything more than Shelton. I will call you tomorrow and I'll deal with you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
So that means no tomorrow will exist because you called already, okay? Whatever you had to say, you unload it, you get it off your chest, okay? So all is forgiven. All right, that's the real issues for today, folks. Wanted to go into a few more things, but I want to get into the discipline of, stopping on time. Thank you very much, Jaquan, for managing the technicals as well as you always do. Thank you, everyone, for being part of it. We have already thanked the minister who was our guest earlier on. Until tomorrow, same time from 12:30 until 2 p.m. on Real FM Radio, NBC Television, Facebook Live, and YouTube live streaming. Shelton Daniel signing out.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here.
The winning numbers for the midday draw of Tuesday, 1st October 2024 were Double Daily Grand, 7, 8, 19, Big 4, 2, 4, 6, 9, Big for Multi-X, 2X, Pick 219. Pick 2 Multi-X FP. 1 off 318. Lucky 3094. Lucky 3 Multi-X 2X.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30.